The city of Norwich is suffering with an acute case of cup fever, and this week we will be playing in the second leg in the quarter-final of the Champions League, and we will follow that immediately with a semi-final in the FA Cup. But our league form is not what it should be. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, Part 21, Season 3, in the Ferguson save set in the future. And it is cup fever here at Norwich this week, and we will be playing 2 games in cup competitions. We will first be playing at home to Newcastle in the Champions League quarter-final second leg, and we will follow that with a semi-final of the FA Cup against West Ham. This is a really good opportunity to win the FA Cup, with only Arsenal of the big teams and ourselves left in the competition. If we don't win it this year, it's highly unlikely that we're going to get as good an opportunity as this in the future. But whilst things are looking good in the cup competitions, our league form is not looking good, and we are suffering as a result in the league. We have played 32 games, we have 57 points, and we are currently sitting in 4th position. But we have Chelsea and Manchester United and Liverpool breathing down our necks, and we have a very difficult 6 games in the run-in, and so we have to get these cup games over today, and then we will have to go back to focusing on trying to get better results in the Premier League. But before we go into all that, if you are brand new to the channel and you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, then you're in the right place for sure. So why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, help us to support the very worthwhile cause that you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. We have played in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final already, away at Newcastle, and this is what happened. And so a dreadful error has let Newcastle back into the game, and it's going to be very tense. It's going to be very tight at home to Newcastle in the second leg. But let's have a look at what's been happening on the pitch in total since you were last with us. And in the last episode you saw us beating Milan in the round of 16 in the Champions League by 2-0 after extra time, and then we followed that with the 3-2 FA Cup quarter-final victory against Championship Middlesbrough. And since then, we have had a very poor 2-2 result against Wolves in the Premier League, and we followed that up with that 2-1 Champions League quarter-final first leg victory against Newcastle. And so that brings us very nicely to today. We have a very tense game against Newcastle, and we'll follow that with the FA Cup semi-final against West Ham. This is our best opportunity to win the FA Cup that we've had since we arrived, and I don't think we're going to get a better opportunity in the future. This has got to be our year in the FA Cup. We have a fairly clean bill of health in terms of injuries, and we only have Kieran Phillips, who is a breakthrough prospect, a forward. He's the only injured player that we have at the moment. He's expected to be out for about 5 to 10 days, but he hasn't played any football, and so in terms of injuries we are looking very good at the moment, and that is good news because we're going to need our players fit as we come into the back end of the season here. And we are going to get straight on with it today, just in case there's extra time. We are going to get straight on to the game against Newcastle. We are at home, we have to take the game to them, Let's go and kick some balls. And so the team for today against Newcastle is Gotts in goal with Muntean, Lee, Reguan and McSweeney at the back. Bertrand, Fortes, Zaprapoulis in midfield with Puk, Kitambala and Wilden up front. Zaprapoulis has very recently signed a brand new 4-year deal which will keep him at the club, and we are very, very happy for that to happen, and that means that we are not looking for a first team right winger for the coming season. So that is very, very good news, and I think we're going to tell him it's important we take advantage of our home status here. Go out there, play your game, and let's hope that we can progress to the semi-final. I won't be too disappointed if we don't make it. I have actually probably made an error. I have moved the defensive line back to a more standard line of defence just to try and be a little bit more defensively solid, and hopefully that's the right decision that I have made. We've chosen to step up a little bit more to stop them spraying balls over the top from midfield. But we do have the first highlight, and here is Lee. Lee looking across field to McSweeney, who's is a very good season. He's developing into a very good left back. And here is Puk on the left hand side looking for McSweeney. Can he get across? And he finds Puk instead. Puk is in space. What a chance! And it's gone over the crossbar from Zaprapoulis. I think he's probably got money on his mind and wasn't focused enough there. But we've had the first highlight and we're doing really well. It would be quite a shock if we make it into the semi-final of the Champions League. I was not expecting that to happen this season, and just pleased to have got through the league phase, and we did extremely well finishing third in that phase, so everything seems to have clicked in the Champions League. It's just a shame that our league form has been so poor. We are currently in 5th in the league, but at the moment we are absolutely dominating Newcastle, and once again we have this problem where we cannot get shots on target. Early in the season we were putting our chances away. Now we don't seem able to convert these chances, and Newcastle have been absolutely annihilated. They have only had one opportunity in the first half. We've created 9 chances, and at half time it's still 0-0, and there's been very little to go on. And I think that I'm going to say we simply need to be better in front of goal. We've had all those chances. Kitambala is not playing very well, and it might be prudent actually to bring on Jay Neal. Because Kitambala is on a yellow card at the moment. So let's give Jay Neal his opportunity. Is he going to be the difference between the two sides? He has been nominated for Young Player of the Season this year again. And can he be the difference between the two sides? This is very, very tense for me. And at the moment it's still 0-0. And it could go either way. Newcastle have only actually had 2 opportunities, but they are much better in front of goal than we are. But unfortunately, they have a chance and they've put one over the crossbar. Finishing is a bit of a problem in this game, and I think possibly we're getting some very tired players. We may need to just make some changes very shortly, and we need to win this ball. Well done at the back, and here's Jay Neal. Jay Neal is robbed, and here come Newcastle. Newcastle are in. Newcastle are going to score, and we've absolutely dominated this game, and we've let them score, and I can't believe this has happened. And I'm furious with the team because this is dreadful, and our dreams, I think, are pretty much over now. We've just let them in, and a game we've dominated, and unfortunately they've gone and scored. And that's the way football goes sometimes. I'm trying to put a positive spin on this. I am now going to push the lines up. We're going to go a little bit more attacking. We have to go at Newcastle now, and I don't know what else I can do. I think we just wait a little while, make some changes, and then go attacking. And I think I'll probably go and make those changes now. And so we have made our changes, but I think that it's probably going to be a defeat here today. I hate to be this pessimistic, but I was thinking that before the game kicked off. It is Newcastle who are dominating the second half, and they have scored again. It is now Norwich 0, Newcastle 2. It looks like the dream is over for this year, and we're going to go attacking now. We've got no other choice but to go and attack Newcastle. It's been a poor performance. We dominated them in the first half. We couldn't score, and that's end of story. Wilden is on a 6.3. Absolutely dreadful game. Pook had an awful game. If you don't play well up front, then you've got no chance. But can we get back into the game? Wilden is looking to burst through. Wilden has a chance, but he can't put it away. And it remains Newcastle 2, Norwich 0. We are going out of the competition as it stands at the moment. And unfortunate, but there we go. If you play so badly up front, that is how the game is going to end up. And I had a funny feeling when we had put 10 chances, when we had 10 chances in the first half, we had scored, we had got only one on target. I had a feeling this was not going to be our day. We're going to be out of the Champions League. It's not such a big deal because we're not going to win the competition this year anyway. We've got as far as we can go, and I need to actually focus on the Premier League now. It is coming to an end. It's Norwich 0, Newcastle 2. This has been a very poor performance, and I'm dreadfully upset. We've dominated the game, but Newcastle just were more clinical. And I'm going to tell the boys I am very disappointed with them. Too many players had poor games. There's nothing more that we can say about that. And our dream in the Champions League is over. We got to the quarter-final. That's pretty good. And unfortunately, though, not to be. Let's hope that we can put a better performance in the FA Cup semi-final. If we've lost in the Champions League, that bodes well for the FA Cup semi-final. And maybe we're going to get through to the final. I really hope it's not going to be a disaster of an episode today. Let's go and get the team ready for West Ham. We'll be right back. And so here we are, the game against West Ham. It's pretty much an unchanged team. That team needs to put right what it didn't do in the game against Newcastle. We have made 2 changes. Belmonte has come in at DLP and Neil replaces Kitambala, who had a shocking game against Newcastle, and Neil comes in for him at shadow striker. And so the full team is Gotts in goal with Muntean, Lee, Ragwin, McSweeney at the back, Belmonte, Fortes and Zaprapoulis in midfield. Pook, Neil and Wilden will play up front. I will be very disappointed if we do not win this game. West Ham, who are struggling in 14th place in the Premier League, we have to go out and attack them. We have to be very positive. And I think, let's tell them, the fans, turn up through thick and thin. This is an opportunity like no other opportunity to win the FA Cup this year. I will be very displeased if we do not beat West Ham here today and do not progress to the final. And at the moment, there is very little happening in the first 10 minutes. We have had the only opportunity, and at least that has been on target for a change. That bodes well, hopefully, for the rest of the game. We need to keep dominating possession, and we do have the first highlight. McSweeney to Pook to Fortes, and Belmonte finds Fortes. Belmonte may well end up being the solution to the DLB problem for a couple of years. Here's Wilden to McSweeney with a cross into the box, looking for Zaprapoulis. It's headed clear. Comes out to Muntean. Muntean needs to find support. Looks inside for Belmonte. Belmonte back to Lee. Lee to Fortes. Fortes into J. Neal. J. Neal has shot deflected and Pook has put it over the crossbar. Pook's form at the moment is absolutely shocking, and he really should have put that one away. We are the better team again, and McSweeney now has taken a knock, and I guess the injuries are going to start coming in as we go into this dreadful run-in that we have at the end of the season. And at the moment, it's still Norwich 0, West Ham 0. Our inability to score is causing me severe headaches at the moment, and I'm really not sure what I can do about this. And once again, our forwards are looking extremely poor. 4 shots, 1 on target. West Ham 2 shots, 2 on target. Again, our finishing is just so bad, and I'm going to tell them this is not good enough. It's not acceptable, and you need to go and put this right. It's absolutely dreadful what is happening at the moment. Maybe it is fatigue. Maybe it is because the season has been too long. This squad has not been able to cope with the pressure of playing so many games in so many different competitions. I think I need to go and make some changes very shortly. Nothing is happening in this game, and at the moment it remains Norwich 0, West Ham 0, and it is West Ham who are going to have the highlight here, and this never bodes well because there's been nothing happening. The opposition get a highlight and generally go ahead and score, and we have intercepted the ball luckily as Alan finds Gotts. Gotts needs to get rid of it. We don't want to be doing silly things at the back. Here is Alan to Reguan, to Belmonte to J. Neil looks outside for Muntean, we need to get this ball forward quicker, looking for J. Neil. He's in some space. Can he get it across the box? Can he get the crossover? No, he can't. He finds Zapropoulos into Fortes has made it 1-0. We are a goal up in the semi-final. And Fortes' first goal for such a long time. It's Norwich 1, West Ham 0. I think deservedly we are in the lead. J. Neil held up the ball beautifully, looked for support. Zapropoulos unselfishly fed Fortes, who fired it into the corner. It is Norwich 1, West Ham 0. I think it's time to go and make a couple of changes. And so we have made a couple of changes, only 2 for the time being. I'm really concerned this may well also go to extra time, so I'm holding off a little bit on the substitutions. We're a little bit fitter than West Ham, and we shall wait until they make their substitutions before making ours, as we are looking to find some space here. Muntean needs to intercept that. He does. Neil to Zapropoulos. Wilden finds some space. Is it going to creep over the line? No, it's not. It goes out for a corner. Wilden had a chance. His form, as well as Pook, has been extremely poor, and at the moment it's still Norwich 1, West Ham 0. I think I need to make some more changes now. And so we have made our final changes, and it is now all down to, can we hold on? I'm going to go to a more balanced style of play now, because I think West Ham will throw the kitchen sink at us, and we need to make sure we are defensively solid. But it is West Ham with a highlight. Is this going to go to extra time? We have intercepted. J. Neil needs to get rid of it. He does, but it's all the way picked up by West Ham. Can we just hold on? Can we just hold on? And it's Giroud who's come on at left back. He's getting an opportunity in what his biggest game ever. And here is Sutherland to Hossoya inside to Wilden. Wilden can make it sure, but he can't put it away. It is still 1-0. We just need to hold on now. I think I'm going to make some changes and slow this game down. We'll just leave it as it is. I think if we can hold on, we are going to be in the final of the FA Cup. And what a performance this has been. It's just about enough. And boy, oh boy, that was nerve-wracking. But we have beaten West Ham. We are into the final. And this is our opportunity. I think possibly it will probably be Arsenal who we play in the final. But that is a game that we could win. And it would be better playing Arsenal rather than Manchester City or Manchester United at the moment. And if we have a look at the schedule at what's coming up, we have a very difficult run-in. We have to play Tottenham, Liverpool, and then also Arsenal in our last 6 games. We also have games against Sheffield United, Southampton and Leeds. Who knows what is going to happen in these games? At the moment, we are still in 5th in the Premier League. We need to up our game in that league, and we need to make sure we stay in the top 4. At the moment, it is unknown who we will play in the FA Cup final. Arsenal and Leicester will be playing later. We will let you know next time who is going to be in the final. What I think we'll do is probably it's going down to the wire. I think what we'll do is come back for the Arsenal game and for the cup final next time. And so that's it for this video. If you are brand new to the channel and you love FM content and you like to see people like me suffering playing this game, then you're in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch and comment, help the channel to grow and help us to support the very worthwhile cause that you can see scrolling up above. I am fairly content, but I would like to see an improvement in our Premier League form. But we are in the FA Cup final, and that was the goal for this season and next season. All that remains to be said now is stay safe, take care, and we will see you in the next video.